Hello, this is Zack again, and as you probably can tell, I'm not in Thailand anymore. I'm back home in Wisconsin, and it's good to be home. It's good to have cheese to eat again. My last month in Thailand, I got to teach one more session of English classes down in southern Thailand in Dakwaba, and that went really well. I had 12 students this month in two classes. And one thing that was just really encouraging is all the students were really faithful in coming to class and seemed like they really tried, which wasn't always the case in the past. And which is even more encouraging is that a few of the students were just really interested in learning more about Christ. And John, the guy I worked with in southern Thailand, he had a IFC class, and I am a follower of Christ class, to teach the students about Christ. And it was really encouraging to have three of my English students go to that class consistently, and even to have them write essays for the English class about how excited they were and how thankful they were that they got to learn about Jesus. So if you want to be praying for them, their names are Bop and Mai and Gi, and just it's been really encouraging to see them just seek after Christ. And so after I got done with my final session of English classes, I had the opportunity to go to the sports camp for the church in Bangkok. And that was really fun to be a part of. It was exhausting, it was super hot, and we played sports all day. And my team got last, but thankfully I only had a temper tantrum one time, and it wasn't that bad, and I apologized right away. So that was good for me. Um, But yeah, it was really fun to be at anyway, and it was good just to see my old friends again and just to play sports. I mean, I really enjoyed it a lot. And on the last day, we got to go to an island off of Pattaya, which is a famous tourist town in not too far from Bangkok. And so that was a lot of fun to go to. And our speaker for that week was Mel McGinnis from New York, which was the guy that I started teaching with in September, and he was my accountability partner, and me and him really connected well in September, so it was really great and encouraging to have him back in Thailand for a couple weeks. After the sports camp, I got to go back to Bangkok for 10 days, and I had very few responsibilities, so I just kind of got to hang out and relax and spend some quality time with my good friends Gong and Pema and Nora and just everyone else at Sandasuk in Bangkok, and that was just really good to be there. And basically my only responsibility during that time was to train in Richard, who is from America. He's a 25-year-old, just finished college, and he's going to be replacing me in southern Thailand, helping John out. And so he came to Bangkok, and I got to train him, and how to teach the English classes, and then just tell him about Thai culture. And it was just really encouraging to meet him. He seems like a really good guy, and I'm just really excited to see how God uses him in southern Thailand. And it's been crazy because I guess they just started a new session of English classes about 2 weeks ago, they started on the same day that the new school year started for like the high schools in the area, and they ended up having 43 students, which is just ridiculous. They almost quadrupled the number of students that we had the month before. So it's just really encouraging to see how, first of all, God provided Richard to come down to Thailand, because if he wouldn't have come and I would have left, John would have been by himself and the English classes might have stopped completely. And then to have Richard go down there and for them to have 43 students is just amazing to see how faithful God has been to our ministry there. And so yeah, it was a good last month, and I'm just so encouraged by God's faithfulness. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of the main lessons that I learned while I was in Thailand. I think the main thing that God showed me is He just truly showed me His faithfulness in providing Richard to come and take over for me, and providing my support money through all of you giving so generously. He showed me His faithfulness and just sustaining me in a foreign country and giving me friends. I mean, one of my big prayer requests when I first went to Thailand was just that God would give me at least one good friend, to share life with and to do accountability with. And He gave me more than one, and it was just, I huge blessing to grow close to so many people from different countries. Another huge thing that God taught me is just that He is the greatest treasure, that living for Him is going to bring us the most joy in life. I mean, this is something that I've known, but I think God has really sunk these things deeper into my heart and given me more faith in these truths, and it's been really cool to just see that. One thing I've realized since I've been back home is just how blessed I was in Thailand, because there wasn't as many distractions for me there. And so I was really able to spend a lot of time with the Lord. And there were many things that I've learned. I mean, I talked to you in a couple support videos ago about how, God called me to southern Thailand, and which was a decent sacrifice for me, and how I really feel like He just gave me a lot of joy in that and used me and let me see Him do amazing things. And He, as it says in Mark 10, He repaid me 100-fold for the little that I gave up for Him. And I just want to give you some prayer requests now. Just as I'm now finished in Thailand, I'd really ask that you pray for Richard and John in southern Thailand, as it's just the two of them, and they have 43 students. I mean, it's a huge blessing, but at the same time, it's extremely stressful to have 43 students. So I ask you to pray that God would just give them wisdom in how to interact with this many students, and that He would just give them patience and love for these students, and that He would help them to remember that it's not about having an established English school, but it's about having these students hear about Christ and coming to know Him. Really great. You could also pray for just Thailand in general, just amidst all the violence that has happened in the past couple of months, that God would restore peace, and that the government would become stable, and that He would bring many people to Himself in this time. And I also just want to ask you to continue to pray for my friends Gong, who came to Christ in September, that God would continue to grow in him. It's been really encouraging to see him grow, and now where he's teaching English, and he has just a heart to tell his family and his friends more about Christ. And for Nora, my little 10-year-old friend, that God would provide her with more male role models in her life, and just people to love her, and that He would just bring her near to Himself at a young age. And for my friend Pema, who's from Tibet, and he's kind of going through some times where he's struggling a little bit with visa things and with not knowing what he wants to do with his life. He has a dream of eventually going back to Tibet, and just starting a school like Santasuk there, where people can hear about Christ. So you can just pray for him that God would help him to be able to do that. And also just pray for me in my future. I'm sure many of you are wondering, Zach, what are you going to be doing now that you're back? And to be honest, I really have no clue. I have a few ideas. One thing, I'd really like to try working with people in poverty, maybe in an inner city somewhere in the States. But I really don't know what's next, so if you could just pray for guidance, and I'd appreciate any wisdom from any of you. Last of all, I just really wanted to just thank all of you. All of this happened. I couldn't have been able to go without your financial support and without your prayers, and I'm just so thankful that God gave me the opportunity to go to Thailand, and that He used you to support me financially. Thank you so much for your giving and your prayers and your encouragement. And I just want to leave you with a verse from 3 John that I talked about when I first went over to Thailand. 3 John 7 and 8. For they have gone out for the sake of the name, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. Therefore we ought to support people like these, that we may be fellow workers for the truth. And so through your giving and through your prayers, you were fellow workers with me over in Thailand, and God used us to do mighty things, and I'm just so thankful for all of you. And my brothers are both overseas right now too. I guess you could pray for them too. Nate is in the Middle East. My middle brother is 21, and Josh, who's 19, is in Mexico City, and they'll both be coming back in about a month. And so if you could be praying for them. And I think the three of us are hopefully going to combine sometime here and have just a meal at our house for all our supporters, just to say thank you and to tell you what God has done in all our trips. So I'll give you more information on that later, but I'm just so thankful, and I really want to show my appreciation to each of you. So just thank you so much, and I just love to keep in touch with all of you. Feel free to give me an email or give me a call anytime. Thanks again.